Hey, I'm Roland with Mobile Geeks, and we're right here at Samsung Roadshow 2014 in Berlin. And here we have the Galaxy S5, which just got announced at MWC in Barcelona, and we want to show you the top 10 features of the new flagship smartphone from Samsung. So what's new in here is basically they have upgraded the hardware and they've done a couple of other things. For example, interestingly, they have removed the eye tracking features, for example, but there's a bunch of other stuff that Samsung is hoping is going to make this device unique, and we'll try and show you these. So one of the new features that Samsung has integrated here is the fingerprint reader. It sits down here in this in the home button. It's actually hardware integrated down here, and what you're going to do is basically you just go to the settings menu up here, scroll down to finger scanner or fingerprint scanner, and then you can set up a new fingerprint. And what you do is basically you have to swipe down 8 times down here, and it will recognize your finger and will try to memorize that. And when you want to unlock the device, you just swipe down there, and that's it. Up here you have to enter an alternative password, which we're just not going to do right now because we're at this trade event. And after that you can just press the home button, swipe once, and then it'll unlock the smartphone. You can actually enter up to 3 fingerprints and have 3 different users combined with profiles and stuff, so that's actually a neat new security feature on the Galaxy S5, which is the new fingerprint reader down here. Another interesting feature that Samsung has integrated in the Galaxy S5 is actually a heart rate monitor. So what you're going to do is basically you start an app that's on the front of the device. I have to go back to the home button first, switch to the menu, and then you will go to the S Health app, which is somewhere in here. It's down here. Move to that and switch to heart frequency down here, and it's on the back right there. It tells me where it is at right now. And what you're going to do is basically you're going to loosely place your finger on here, so you don't have to press the button or anything. And as you can see, there's an infrared light going on right there, and after a couple of seconds it will tell you your heart rate. Right now it's pretty loud in here and people are speaking. I myself is speaking too, so I'm just going to shut up for a second. Yeah, so right now it's not really working because all the noise around me and my speaking myself, and also there's this security thing back here. But what you do is basically you put your finger on here loosely, and it'll take about 10 seconds or something, and it'll tell you your heart rate. Samsung is actually counting on the app ecosystem to use that feature a lot, so you can do a bunch of health-related features with this. And the next unique feature that Samsung is doing on this phone is basically they're combining a device that has a removable back and is totally accessible, so you can switch out the battery. The SIM card slot is readily available without a tool, and you can put in an SD card slot, SD card and everything else, but it's also waterproof, so you can leave this in the water for about an hour or something, and it is supposed to not let any water in. And the way they're doing it is they're using this sealing around the most important components in here. You have to make sure to press on the back. It tells you every time you remove the back that you have to really press on the back cover again to make it really watertight. You can leave that in the water, as I said, for about an hour, and it should actually be no problem at all. Down here, that's the micro USB 3.0 port that actually has its own cover right here that also has this sealing around it. I can't remove this right now because I'm going to set off the alarm if I do that. And another thing is they have made the headphone jack waterproof too, so you don't need a cover for the headphone jack, but it still should be able to withstand water. You can use the phone in the shower, for example, but you don't want to submerge it in water that's deeper than a meter. That's what they told us, because then the water will get into the device, definitely will get into the device. So it's not really fully waterproof, but it's water resistant up to a certain level where it will make you able to use the phone in the rain, for example, without being worried about destroying the device. Samsung has also made the camera a lot faster on the Galaxy S5, so we have a 16 megapixel shooter on the back, including its own flash, so it's definitely a good camera. It should be definitely a decent camera. And what they've done is they have sped up the autofocus feature on this a lot, so it should be able to focus within just under or just around 3 seconds. So you just hit that there and it's focused after just a tiny fraction of a second. So if I go back here, zoomed in, zoomed in, zoomed in, shouldn't take longer than 0.3 seconds, depending on how heavily or how if you move the device too fast, it should take a bit longer. But basically, you're able to zoom really fast and out of focus really fast, so you can take snapshots within just about a second or something, so you don't miss on any of the objects or whatever you want to take a picture of. A pretty unique thing that Samsung is doing on the Galaxy S5 is actually the ultra power saving mode right here. So you hit that button and it will make the device last up to 12.5 days. And if you start that, you will see that the device is actually switching into a special mode where it's turning off the colors on the screen to actually make you realize, hey, I'm in power saving mode right now. And since it's using a Super AMOLED screen, they're actually cutting away the background colors and stuff, so you only use the pixels that are definitely in use right now. And they're also reducing the amount of features that you can actually use, so you have features like the phone, messaging, internet, and a couple of other apps that you can add like this, so you can use the memo feature, the clock feature. A couple of Google services are supported, the Messenger is also supported, and it'll definitely prolong the battery life a lot. The feature is actually also using a couple of hardware power saving on the processor right here, so they probably shut down a couple of cores and maybe also reduce the speed of the device, so that's why you can only use this bunch of apps without taxing the CPU too much, so you don't actually waste power using apps that are using whatever, LTE for example, and other features that are very power hungry on the device. Samsung has also integrated a so-called kids mode in the Galaxy S5, which is basically reducing the feature set to make it able to be used by kids that are not really used to phones and anything. So you start this, it'll connect to the server and actually make sure that you are the kid right here. And it is an add-on feature, so you have to install that, which I'm just going to do right now, and let's hope that the Wi-Fi will actually make that available pretty quickly. So now we figured out how to download it. Since the Wi-Fi is really slow, we're actually using a LTE connection right here, and in this context I can actually tell you that this device is also capable of using LTE Advanced, so you'll enjoy download speeds of up to 150 megabits a second, which is pretty fast actually, and we will show you how that works in a second in the download booster feature, which is another thing that I'll show you. So now we've actually moved into the kids mode, and I just set up today as the birthday of my kid that's called Hans, which is, I just made that up, right? And when you close it down, you can actually see that you have a simplified UI for kids. There's a bunch of apps. Actually, you have a singing app or a music player. There's a video player in here, also a camera app and a gallery feature, and also a small drawing app in here. And what it will do is basically it'll lock the device up to a certain point, so you can only use certain apps that the kids are able to actually deal with. It'll not allow in-app purchases and make sure that the kids don't do anything stupid with the phone. The way you move out of here is actually you have to swipe down twice and you will enter a PIN, so you can actually leave the device with the kid without the kid actually being able to cross the hurdles that Samsung has put in place to make the device safe from tampering with. When you've activated the download booster on the Galaxy S5, you can actually speed up downloads, and it will work very much faster. We're in a very good Wi-Fi right here, but right now it's combining the Wi-Fi from the event that we're at right now and combining that with Vodafone's LTE network in Germany right here. We reached speeds of up to 120 megabits earlier. Right now it's cruising along at 64 or 67 on the LTE. The Wi-Fi right now is not really good, so we can't really demonstrate how fast it would be actually. But as you can see, the speeds are really high, so you can use that when you're at a station or at a cafe or whatever, and you have to leave pretty soon, but you still want to download a movie or maybe a larger file on the go. And after a couple of minutes you're going to be done. So this file was just under 500 megabytes, and it took us only about 2 minutes to download that using the download booster feature. When you activate or deactivate it, when you activate it again, it'll tell you that you're going to waste some bandwidth on your mobile tariff, and it's going to warn you about the extra costs. And after there's also a limit in there, so if the file size goes above 30 megabytes, it will always tell you that you're using the bandwidth of your mobile tariff, and you might lose the full speed after reaching the limits on this. Something that Samsung has already been doing for a couple of years, or for most of the time, is actually they are not following the trend to lock up their devices for the user, so you can actually remove the battery, which is in this case a 2800 milliampere hour battery. It's not unique to the Samsung Galaxy S5, since Samsung is doing this on all their phones, but I want to mention this because that's actually something that many people want on their phones, but Sony and HTC and a bunch of other companies are no longer allowing users to switch out the battery. And after 2 or 3 years, the battery will slow down or die down actually and lose its capacity. So you'll be able to buy a replacement battery for not a lot of money and throw that in here and be able to switch out the battery. Or you can also buy a second battery and prolong the battery life of your device on the go. And another feature that is pretty unique to Samsung, or they're only doing this on the Galaxy Note 3, and except from that phone there's actually no other smartphone on the market right now that has a USB 3.0 port. So this is a micro USB 3.0 port down here. Right now it's using a standard micro USB port cable right here, and I can't really remove that because the alarm will go off. That's just module down here, and what it'll do is basically it'll allow you to transfer movies or videos or basically every file or photos or whatever on and off the device at a very high speed. So that's actually a cool thing if you do a lot of photos and you have a USB 3.0 compatible PC, so you can actually remove or move files on and off the device very, very fast. And the last very nifty feature that Samsung is actually integrating into the Galaxy S5 is this app called S Remote, which makes you able to watch TV in your country and quickly switch between channels and shows on TV. So right now we have synchronized this for the Berlin DVB-T network, where you'll be able to just switch quickly to ARD and watch programming info and everything else on your phone. So it's basically augmenting the TV experience. And what you can also do is set up this device to control pretty much any compatible or infrared compatible TV set. So it'll guide you through this setup thing right here. You'll just choose whatever TV manufacturer you have, and it will guide you through the setup process, and after that you can actually use the phone as a remote. There's also a bunch of other companies that are doing this nowadays, but I actually like this a lot because it'll make your TV experience a bit more lively and interesting, and since we're all fiddling around with our smartphones all day, that'll probably help some people watch TV actually. So I was rolling with Mobile Geeks, checking out the new Galaxy S5 and a bunch of its features. So this has been our top 10, and I'll see you later.